Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today we have an OPPO, I hope that's the right way you pronounce it, that needs a screen replacement. It's the A75 or 74, I forgot, A74 5G model, yes? So yeah, let's not waste any more time and just right away get to it. We just start off by getting the SIM card tray out right there on the side. We just get that out. And for this repair, we are gonna need some hot air station to heat up the back and the front later. So I just heat it up slightly on the edges. Not too hot. That should do. And after that, I like to use this surgical blade and a suction cup to just kind of insert it right there and then lift up. I'm not sure if you can see, but right there. So I just push down straight and then pry up gently and make a small cut in the glue. And once I'm inside there, I don't like to continue with the surgical blade because they're flex cables and a lot of other things, so I just get this card underneath it, get that out of the way, and now we can do this without worrying about cutting anything on the way or something like that. And since this cover is made of plastic, we're less likely to break it. If you're ever replacing the back of any other phone that has a glass back, those tend to break more easily, and with those you can actually apply more air and stuff like that. So let me see if I can get this into focus right there. So what I also like to do is get some alcohol right there on the sides, and sometimes even a little bit on the card itself, just to get it slightly wet. And that's it. Just makes it easier to take it all apart, in my experience at least. You technically don't really have to do this, but hey, it works for me, so it's kind of what I'm used to. Sometimes this can be a little tough, but oh, let's see, my stand just decided to fall down. Let me make sure it's nice and tight. And hopefully that holds. I have it positioned in a very bad way, so it makes sense that it falls. So I'll have to find another position for the next video. But since I'm not really good at editing yet, I try to keep the footages raw, so to speak. So yeah, it's a little bit of back and forth like that. to just kind of cut the glue. And hey, if it's not coming off, you just get the hot air station again, heat it up. This one really doesn't want to come off, but let's see. Hey, this one's taking its time, so let's see if we can speed it up a little bit to not make the video way too long. Just like that. And then there's some glue right underneath there next to the camera, like right over here. Well, glue, but and just like that, we're in. Now we can just take this and put it away somewhere safe. And yeah, let's get to the rest. Let's see. This is the version that, let's see. You know, we're just gonna have to take the battery off as well. So first we have to get all the screws out. Some up top and some underneath. One hidden there. So let's get to that. The good thing about these Android phones is that most of them just use all the same size screws. It's not like an iPhone where it's a little bit different. I do definitely need to get another camera for the angles because you guys cannot see anything aside from my hand, but it's just me getting the screws out. Not much to see anyway, but yeah. And that's it. Now, once we've done that, we kind of need to get this whole back cover off in order to access the rest of the stuff. So what we need to do is, well, at least what I'd like to do is I get that surgical blade again, and since it's pretty weak right here where the SIM card tray is, I just kind of, how can I say this, insert it and just push to the sides, just slightly and gently, nothing too aggressive, and it should just pop just like that. That's more difficult to do it here up top, but it's still doable. And we just put that in there and just like that, and then once that comes off, the rest is just much easier. I mean, you could even do this with your thumbnail or something like that. You just get it underneath there and just go cracking around. You do have to be careful with this cable here, especially, so you don't want to insert any kind of a knife or anything there. But yeah, I'm telling you not to do it, and I'm doing it myself, of course. I just recently cut my nails, so I don't have any nails to pry up with right now. So I'll just use the knife there because I kind of know how this works, but you ideally want to avoid that. And yeah, that's most of the back cover. And then a little bit there. And that comes off just like that. Be careful with this cable because it's still connected to the power button. So what we do is disconnect the battery and then disconnect this flex right there. I usually do it with my nails, but you can perfectly use prying tools for that. Of course, after you've disconnected the battery first, and never disconnect the battery with any kind of metal tweezer or anything. And then, yeah, I'm not sure which one of these is the screen, but I'm assuming it's this one. So I just disconnect that one. I'll disconnect the other one as well, just in case. And yeah, what we have to do now is to get the battery out, because the flex cable is right underneath. There are some models where the flex cable just goes over the battery, but this one is underneath. So we're gonna have to get the battery out, which is pretty tough sometimes, but not all of the times. So we just kind of have to pry up. No, pry, push, and just like that, it comes off. Careful not to rip any cables or anything. You just pull it just like that, and you have the battery out. Later we can glue it down, and sometimes honestly it's not even necessary because it's still, these parts are pretty sticky still. So we just put this away, and this is the screen cable that goes through there. So what we're gonna have to do is now heat up the back, the front, and pry it up from there. So let's get to it. We're gonna need some hot air again. And we start heating up the edges. Hopefully that will do. And again, my favorite tool was this one. As you may have noticed, I just get the suction cup on, pull slightly, push it down, just like straight, and then gently pry up. And you see you get right underneath there. And then since we don't really care about the screen, we can just use the knife and not worry about anything. But if you did have to take out the screen, I would suggest you switch to this thing again and just get it off. But since we heated it up nice and evenly, it comes off easily just like that. What we must never forget, especially with this model, is the microphone mesh right here. So we just kind of have to take that off, and we can place it back right where it belongs. Well, I think this is actually called the microphone. Let's see if I can get it into frame. Sorry. I think it's called a microphone grill, actually, not a mesh. I'm not really too sure when it comes to the names and stuff, but yeah, that should stay there, hopefully. And yeah, let's see if it falls out. Doesn't. Okay, it's sticking there for now. All right, cool. So now what we have to do before anything else is get the replacement part and test it before actually assembling it. So I got the screen right here. So before anything, you just feed this cable through here and it comes out on the other side. So you just lay it down there. No gluing, no nothing yet, at least. And you just connect the cable. Oh, sorry, I completely forgot to bring it into frame. Once connected, you just connect that back up. You get the battery. Place it on top, not pressuring it too much or anything yet. Let's see if we can actually do this, because it's sticking. You can just directly connect the battery like that and just press the power button. And there we go. Now I always wait to actually test the functionality of the touch as well. Make sure it's working properly. But most of the times if it gives an image, the touch functionality is fine as well, most of the times. In some cases not, but that's very rare, and you would just have to return the screen itself and get a new one from the manufacturer or wherever you got the screen from. But hey, most of the times it doesn't happen. And it can sometimes be even caused by a bad connection in the back, so yeah. Let's wait for it to power on. And yeah. There we go, we're almost in. And anytime soon. This does take some time sometimes with some of the models. But hey, there we go, and we're in. Let's test the touch functionality. No, it's working, so. There we go. We can just go on calls and make sure it works, but yeah, we're good. So what we do is go back here, disconnect the battery, get it off, and now comes the more difficult part. We just disconnect the battery and the screen, sorry, and get it out. 1 second. All right, let's continue. So now what we have to do, now that we've tested and made sure that everything works, we just put this aside and make sure there's no residual glue or pieces of glass on the edges of the frame. And yeah, seems like we're doing just fine. Now is the difficult part. Let's see, we have to glue down the screen. Let me just get my glue quickly. I used the B7000, although I think there is another one that is black. It's called the T7000. I actually like the consistency of that glue even more, and I have to get my hands on one soon. But yeah, another important thing to keep an eye on is this cable right here. Sometimes they come like bent, but not well enough, like as you can see here on the sides. Let me see if I can get that into frame. See that part? It can sometimes stick out and just ruin your life. So what you want to do is make sure they're properly folded and don't like end up getting stuck underneath the frame here or something like that in a very bad position, because it can cause problems in the future. Or you can just directly break the screen if you don't do it properly. So I just like to make sure it's nicely folded. And that should do. Now, we put that aside and we get the glue. When it comes to the glue, what we have to especially make sure of is that we never put too much. If you put too much glue, it can leak into the sides of the screen right here, and it can cause the touch functionality to suffer a lot, or just break the screen completely actually. So what you don't want to do is apply too much glue. So here's where you need to be precise. And also another important thing to keep in mind is the proximity sensor, which are always usually at the top. This one has it right over there somewhere. I don't think you can see it, but it's right underneath there. So what you want to make sure is that you do not get any glue there, because then you will break the sensor, or if not break it, it will just won't function properly. So what I like to do is just apply very little glue, and especially very far away from the proximity sensor. So you just get the glue and just start from a couple millimeters further from that, and you just get the glue right down the edges. And once you get there, you just go down there. And just like that. Just a tiny bit of glue. I'm pretty sure it won't even be visible to the camera, but I am actually applying some glue now. And all the way up here, careful with the camera. And just like that, something like that, yes. Just put the cap back on. Get rid of these stickers here. This one. And this one over here. And yeah, this time we just feed the cable through. And properly align the screen and press down. Nice. Once we've done that, I like to place it down flat and just put a little bit of pressure on it for a couple of seconds before we continue with the rest. And yeah, meanwhile you do that, you can also just directly get to connecting the cables and stuff, as long as you keep a little bit of downward pressure right there, just to make sure it doesn't come loose or anything, or move around at least. So yeah, and that was the most difficult part of the repair done right there. Making sure you don't apply too much glue, and that's it, honestly. So yeah, we connect that, we get the battery, make sure it's nice and straight, because sometimes from pulling it, it does get a little bent, that's okay. And yeah, we get this placed down right here, push and connect. And I always like to turn it on again and test it just in case, but at this point nothing could really go wrong. I just pressed the power button and it turned on, and we're getting the screen, so we're good to go. We just keep on applying downward pressure and we're almost there. So now let me just keep that there. We need to get this piece back on, so we just connect it right there. Probably should have done this before turning the phone on, but it's totally fine. and we just kind of push it back into place, just like that. Right there. Now on this side. And we have the screen working as well. So, yeah. Turn it off. Get it back down flat. And now we just need to get the screws back in and get the back cover screwed on. So let's get to that. I'll try to be as quick as I can to not make the video any longer than it needs to be, but as always, you can just skip to the part where you need. I've been trying to figure out what YouTube settings and everything are the best to upload videos from and with, I guess, because I'm recording on my phone right now, and I'm honestly new to all of this stuff from recording and videos and all of that, but I thought it'd be interesting to kind of share the repairs that I do at home as a hobby, because I do really like this kind of stuff, and I am learning to do more and more things, like how to micro solder and all of that, and I'm practicing that in my free time as well, although not as much as I should be, but yeah. So do expect to see some cooler videos in the future, but for now I have to get used to this whole thing and kind of figure it out as I go, and maybe with your help in the comments, if you wish to, you could teach me how to properly record a video and angles and light and all of that stuff, which I'm still figuring out right now. So yeah, if you have any ideas on how I can improve, which I bet there are many, you let me know down in the comments, and I'll make sure I deliver as soon as I can. And yeah, we're almost there. Just one more screw after this one. There, done. Now only one thing left to do to get this back on there. Now this part is just easy. You get glue and you just apply it on the sides, just like that. Right there. I'm just realizing you guys probably can't see anything, but yeah, I just applied glue on the edges. Now let me see if I can show you. Just right there a little bit and a little bit right there, making sure it doesn't leak into the phone itself or anything, so you don't need to put too much glue. And you just get the lid back on and apply some downwards pressure. Let me see if I can get this part to stick down properly. You make sure it's nice and aligned, and if you're smart, you prepare your tools before you actually do make a video, because right now I just need to get my hands on my tools to hold down the screen and the back glass. But I like to use these guys, so they're like little clamps. I put them on, one there, one over there, one over here at the top. Let's see. As long as they hold, you don't really need to press down on them anything too hard. They're there to just hold down so that you don't have to do it. And if you have another phone to repair or something like that, you just get to that one. And yeah, that should be it. And we just leave this to dry for like 15-20 minutes and we're good to go. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and sorry for all the noises in the background. I do always try to record in the middle of the night so that there's not too much noise, but yeah, I didn't have a lot of time this time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know down in the comments how I can improve them in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.